Thank you, Richard. It's a pleasure to be back in the beautiful city of Vienna again. As noted, I'm here to offer you a welcome on behalf of the Drucker School and the Drucker Institute at Claremont Graduate University. But first, a little geography lesson. You might be asking yourself, where is Claremont? And we'll see if we can get this to work here. Yes. Claremont is 1 hour east of downtown Los Angeles. It's in something called the Inland Empire of California. And no, the Habsburgs didn't own that area. You might ask yourself, well, what is this place, Claremont, known for? Well, Claremont is known as the city of trees and PhDs. It looks nothing like the rest of Southern California. Then you might ask yourself, where do all these PhDs come from? They come from something called the Claremont Consortium, which is a consortium of 7 institutions of higher education, all residing in 1 square mile. High academic reputations, sort of Southern California's answer to Oxford. One of those sister schools is the Claremont Graduate University, and the Drucker School and the Drucker Institute sit within that. Both the Drucker School and the Drucker Institute are very close to this event here today. The Drucker School was Peter Drucker's academic home for over 30 years. The family residence, Cecily, we can attest, was within walking distance of the school. And I would just like to make a footnote to Cecily's comments about Doris, who I had the pleasure of knowing, that in addition to being an entrepreneur, a scientist, an author, she was also an adopted mother to many of our foreign graduate students who today are very, very grateful for that. The Drucker School and the Drucker Institute are firmly rooted in the principles and values of Peter Drucker. And I don't think I need to tell the audience here today what those are. You're very familiar with that. I believe these are timeless principles, although sometimes they go by different names. For example, Peter's concept of abandonment seems to be called today, disrupt yourself. Our strategic intent going forward is not to abandon those roots, but rather to modernize and connect them to the current business reality. And that reality is all about being global, digital, and the increased importance of innovation. So what we've done is we've taken that strategic intent and translated it into 4 strategic goals. Each of those goals has a cluster of strategic initiatives, and let me just share quickly some of those. One of those goals is what I call Drucker 21, which is just that, to take Peter into the 21st century. One of the strategic initiatives under this goal is the development of a Drucker Index, a tool for measuring organizational effectiveness following the principles and values of Peter Drucker. And this tool is under construction. It's a joint venture of the Drucker Institute and the Drucker School. It should be ready by this time next year. If you'd like to know more about that, please talk to either myself or Rick Wartzman. Another strategic goal, I call this Invent, obviously dealing with innovation. You know, Peter talked a lot about the challenge of managing knowledge workers, people who think for a living. We're kind of taking that one step further to the challenge of managing creatives, people who create for a living. And in that regard, we're bringing together 2 fields, management on one hand and the arts on the other. And we are, in fact, Sotheby's Institute of Art of Los Angeles and have a relationship with the Getty Leadership Institute. Third goal is customerific. Now, I made up that word. I combined the word customer and terrific into customerific. And Peter talked a lot about the purpose of business being to create and keep customers. But how you do that in today's age, the age of the Internet of everything, is the key question. Finally, the goal of Backyard, which is to bring the principles and values of Peter Drucker into the leading industries of Southern California, which include the creative economy, supply chain, and healthcare. To conclude, we see our mission at the Drucker School of really preparing tomorrow's leaders to deal with an uncertain future, to tackle it head on. And as the surfers in Southern California say, it's very important to get ahead of the wave, because if you don't, it's going to wash out all over you. So in order to deal with that future, we feel students need certainly agility, they need resilience, they need foresight, but they also need a solid foundation. And we can think of no better foundation than the principles and values of Peter Drucker. So thank you. Enjoy the conference. It's our pleasure to be here, and I look forward to meeting you socially in the days to come. Thank you, Richard.